How's it? Welcome back. So I was having a conversation in the chat from one of my older YouTube videos about video games, of course, another favorite passion of mine. And now I didn't go back and re-listen to my older video to know exactly what I said in it. Although I would imagine I would have brought this up. If not, though, we were talking about it in the comments underneath the video. But we were essentially referencing how there's been studies done in the past that showed that people who play more video games tend to have more lucid dreams than people who don't. And now it's been so long since I've read up on these studies that I can't directly quote them or reference them or anything like that. However, if you just simply Google it, I'm sure you'll find it super duper quick, no problem. But the general takeaway from these studies was that, because you're getting used to living in and controlling these virtual 3D game worlds, there's a lot of carryover from that kind of skill and perspective to living in and controlling lucid dreams as well. However, that's not what I really wanted to make this video about. But, in that conversation, it got me thinking, like, how much has me playing a whole bunch of video games, because I play a whole shitload of them, me and both my kids, but like how much has that influenced my lucid dreaming practice? And then it kind of clicked in my head that when my lucid dreams really started to kick off in like my early teen years, and I started to have them semi-consistently about like once a month or so, that actually did line up pretty good with when I truly got into video games for real. Where like the first video game console we ever got was my dad showed up one morning on the porch with a Sega Genesis and blew me and my older brother's minds. And so that's when we really got into it. We'd play Alice Kid and Altered Beast together as a family and stuff like that at nighttime. But those games were kind of like, those games are still considered pretty difficult nowadays. Like, games have gotten a lot easier over the years, and I was so young, I just sucked ass at them. But I still enjoyed it a lot. But then when like the PS1 came out, which, looking back on it, my dad must have bought us that too, because, I was definitely way too young, and I'm pretty sure my older brother wouldn't have bought it himself either. Although we grew up on a horse ranch, so we were making, like, I was considered rich amongst my friends because I would like be having to clean stalls and feed horses and sweep the cross ties and do all this stuff. So I was getting like a decent amount of allowance money than at least any of my friends did. But still yet, wasn't going to throw down a couple $100s on a game system. So my dad must have bought us our PS1. But right around that, it was when I was started to, that's when I was in my early teen years and things like that. It's like 1997, I think, 97, 98. Anyway, my first favorite game of mine that I really got sucked into happens to line up perfectly with when my lucid dreams really started to take off, and that was Metal Gear Solid. Loved that game to death. One of the best games ever made. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like when I really got into that, that's kind of when my lucid dreams actually started to take off with consistency. So just some neat little insight I got from that quick YouTube conversation we're having in the comments. And then I'm also kind of like running an experiment of sorts on my kids, because we play a shitload of video games between the three of us, me and my two boys. Just last year we averaged, I don't know how this is possible, but like four plus hours a day, every single day, which is just wild to me. But it has seemed to kind of work. So like my older son has had a couple lucid dreams, over the years, but I think he might even have them more often, so that his dream recall is, understandably not very good because he doesn't focus on it. We will go through little periods of times where like he will be sharing his dreams with me in the morning. He has like a really cool dream that he wants to share with me. We talk about it in the morning, and then that kind of gets his mind, kind of looking out for that kind of dream stuff more often. And then we'll go for like a week where he's sharing his dreams with me kind of every morning. And then we'll just kind of drift off and disappear for a few months and then come back. So maybe it is working on my older son. My younger son definitely hasn't had a legit lucid dream, I don't think. Every once in a while he'll try to explain something to me that, to me just sounds like he's making that crap up. But, I'm sure it's coming sooner or later. He's only 6 years old. So, for me, I think I had my first like lucid dream, although I didn't really understand what lucid dreams were. When I was about 7, I had this recurring nightmare that every time it would start, after I had it the first time, I knew I was dreaming and all this, but I couldn't get out of it, would suffer through it from beginning to end every single time. So, he's like 6.5. That could be coming pretty soon. So I'll be keeping an eye out to see if my younger son starts having lucid dreams. But really, he just got to get better at his dream recall. Like there's been a few dreams maybe over the years that he's told to me that I actually thought were legit. But lucid dream stuff aside, every once in a while he'll be like, and this is never immediately after waking. This is like at some random point in the middle of the day or at nighttime. He's like, oh, I had this dream. And then whatever dream he shares with me is like suspiciously similar to like some kind of conversation we were having about earlier in the day or something like that. But nonetheless, it is cool. I'll keep an eye out for it, see if my kids have more lucid dreams. And if it is, then maybe hell, it's because of video games. And then also, if you're getting into your lucid dreaming practice and you don't play video games, well, hell, perfect excuse to pick up the hobby. It's kind of expensive hobby, I guess, but you know, cheaper than a lot of other hobbies out there. But nonetheless, it's super fun. Get into video games. They're dope. So with that said, that wraps it up. We're heading to the beach. So until the next video, keep your lucid dreaming practice legit.